All right, Craig's asking, and I'm sure he'll deal with this. Is there a follow-up email? Okay, email sequence. I'm going to be going over email sequences on Monday again, Craig. I have a bunch of samples and I have a bunch of templates, etc. And that's what, this upcoming Monday again. If you want to reach out to Matt and them, I'm sure they have their own, but I have some as well. So we are recording. Hey, Alex. Hey, Drew. Hey, Craig. Hey, Jason. Hey, Matt. Hey, everybody. Let's go ahead. You got share permissions. Yep. You're good to go, man.
All right. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys for coming for another week. This week, we're going to be talking about, Drew and I are going to talk about objections and rebuttals, right? And so we were asked to talk about this last week, so we're going to bring it up this week. Thank you guys for coming. We're just going to talk about some of the common ones, and then we're going to talk about some ideas and some ways that we were, we go against that. With this, I'm going to leave. I have to leave in 10 minutes. Okay. No worries. You hop on your plane. You make sure you don't miss it. So yeah. All right. Let's just get started. So first of all, I want to talk about my favorite one. Okay. This is like, I like to be direct. Okay. I like to be direct. And so we say at the end of a sales call, right? At the end of a sales call, you have the end of the sales call, you have the after call. And if you made it the sale or not, you still have to do some kind of after call and some type of follow-ups. So it's good to make sure to ask powerful questions. Ask powerful questions. So if for some reason you didn't get the deal, or you need a strong statement to find out if you need the deal, here's a powerful statement to say. Okay. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being ready to get started today, what number would you say you're at? All right. And so now it doesn't matter what number they say, because whatever number they say 7. Oh, okay, great. What would it take to get you to a 10? Right there. And they're going to tell you, well, I don't know if I really trust you, or I don't know if I really have the budget for this, or whatever. And that is the perfect way, right? To get in there. And obviously the answer is just, so if I was able to do A, B, and C for you, would you be willing to get started today? So obviously we're going to address those things. We're going to address some of those things that they talk about. Okay. So obviously the most common one is going to be price. And I always say the truth is, no matter what kind of objection you get, there's actually only two. There's only two really real objections. And it's lack of trust in the product or service, or lack of trust in you, right? And you can also see it as value, lack of value in the product or service, or lack of value in you. They don't know enough about you, or they don't know enough about the service. They haven't received enough value yet. And you just need to find out what part of the value do they need to hear, right? We call those pain points. So we know about that. That's what we're looking for in the first place, right? We're trying to figure out their pain points. So I remember Drew wanted to talk about something which I also think it's really important, and it's taking apart objections before they even appear. Yep. With good questions and things like that.
That is my favorite thing to do. And I, believe it or not, working other jobs before jumping into the agency life actually did help quite a bit. I did a lot of call center stuff. I did a lot of sales. And I was always paying attention. No matter what I did, any job, I was always paying attention to the processes. Why are they doing these things? What's the reason behind it? And, the job that I was at taught me how to get past objections before they even became objections. And that's just a matter of how you ask powerful questions. Get it out of the way. Find their budget early in the call. Find the other thing I'll talk about a little bit later. Find out if all the decision makers are on the call. If they're not, I call that a one-legger, right? It's a one-legger if you're on the call with someone who isn't the only decision maker, right? So you just have to ask these questions in a way where you overcome, and you'll know what those objections are. Like Matt said, it's going to be price, or it's going to be not finding trust in the product or service and not giving enough value, right?
Budget, authority, timeline.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thanks, George. Yeah, exactly. And so some of the things that we can do to remove those things, like he said already, is obviously finding out their budget beforehand, finding out their timeline beforehand. Authority, who is the responsible person, the person responsible for making these decisions? Is there even a point for me to talk to you? Are you a gatekeeper? So find out these things first through your line of questioning, through getting to know them, through all these things, and you can destroy all these objections before they come up. Another way to do that too, get rid of objections too, and I was just talking about this recently, is when you go to buy a car, they hand you the keys, okay? They want you to drive the car, to feel the car, to experience the car, because they know that they are way more likely to get the sale because you are less likely to want to return the vehicle, okay? Especially if they let you keep it for over 24 hours to get comfortable with it. So you need to let people drive the car. You need to hand them the keys, right? Take them through your website. I've mentioned this the last couple of classes. Make them go through your website. Make them go through the case studies with you, all right? Make them understand your company, what you've got going on before you start your pitch. Build rapport, get them to trust you, build value.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what Jason's saying. He goes into stalker mode on social media. So you want to be prepared for your call. Learn about your client before you hop on the call. Find something relatable. What me and Matt like to do is, we went over this on the sales pitch class we did last week. We would look for anything in their background. If their background is visible, first thing I'm a musician. I love playing guitar. I'm looking for a guitar on the wall. That's my icebreaker.
Yeah.
So stalk them if you want to say, or Jason might be a little bit more creepy with the stalking, but find something relatable for the icebreaker, and that builds the rapport right out of the gate.
Exactly. And that strengthens the trust big time, right? And then also, seriously, be direct. Please don't be passive, and don't give questions that give them an escape, right? Don't say or not at the end of your sentence. Would you like to buy this or no? What's the or no? Even would you like to buy this? That's passive. All right. That's passive. Something more active would be, would you like to use Visa or MasterCard? I'll go ahead and wait while you grab that.
This or that.
This or that. Okay. And
Not
so
not all the time. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then so just be direct. No passive language. Right? So if they say they don't have the money, some people do financing, right? So here's just an example. You say, would you close today? Not, well, what if? Would you close today if I offered you a month-to-month plan, if I offered you financing, if I gave you whatever it is that I'm giving you, would you close today? George says that is what is pushing the WR leads over the goal line for us. Reverse, look up the phone number, find them on LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And then Craig, the choice of 2 yeses. Exactly, the choice of 2 yeses, right? While building the yes ladder, getting them to say yes all the time. William talks about this. You keep getting them to say yes, yes, yes. And then you give them the choice of the 2 yeses, right? They've already said yes a bunch of times. So now give them yes this or yes that, right? And so you might get people that say something like, I'm already working with a provider. Perfect. That's not a reason for you not to work with me. Now I want to know how much you pay them. And I don't want to talk bad about them. Okay, so here's the thing. Please stop doing this in your close. Stop bad mouthing the competition. There's no need, right? You don't know what they're doing. You don't know anything about them. You might end up messing up. Don't bad mouth them. Don't do that, okay? Absolutely. Instead, promote, say, oh, wow. So this confirms that you see value in what we're doing. So you see value in this kind of solution. Right? Well, these are my results. This is what I'm doing for other people. I'm working for big companies like Goodwill, Beneteau, Aston Martin. These are the companies I work with. And I would love to add you to that roster.
Yep.
if it makes sense for both of us.
I closed the deal today because so it
Drew
was
closed 4 deals today, by the way.
Yeah, I closed 4 today.
Good job,
Yep.
Drew.
Yep. What was it, like $7,000 total?
Yeah,
So
that was nice. Couple little.
I closed the deal today because I asked them. It was more of like a takeover job where it was kind of like taking over an emergency situation where the other developer didn't do a good job, something like that. They waived their invoice, is what they told me. It was like, oh, they just, I got so fed up that they just waived the rest of the invoice. I asked them, oh, what was the remaining balance? What was the remaining balance left on the invoice? Oh, 1,200. Here's what I'll do for you. I will redesign your website for 1,200, but you have to have me as your maintenance and hosting provider. How's that?
I'm going to do this favor for you.
Right.
I need you to do this. So that was a great deal. He turned a mini sale, a really easy job for us to do, into their exact budget, and then confirmed to them, in order for us to do it at your budget, in order for us to be able to hook you up, you got to be, you know what I mean? You got to be on my team here, and you got to say you're going to stick with us in the long run and be part of one of our hosting plans. Wait, do you guys have hosting plans? Let's talk about those. So these are great things you can do, great things. And they're little tricks and tools you can add into your pocket, because we're going to be getting rebuttals. That's the point. Don't expect, we all hope to get the sale the first call, but don't expect to get the sale the first call. Set it up for perpetuity, set it up for trust, set it up for value. Keep giving value throughout the call. Even I try to give an insane amount of value, even if I know they're not going to purchase. I give them free advice all the time. I go, you know what would be a phenomenal free marketing plan for you? You can do this, 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 and this by yourself. And if you did those things, that would really set you up for the future. And guess what they end up doing? They reach out to me. They ask me questions. And then that leads for things inside of the future. We're always giving value, always.
We do that all the time to almost soft close affiliate seats.
Mm-hmm.
For our LinkedIn service, our downsell is, well, we can just give you our tools and SOPs.
Mm-hmm. Make it easy for you. You can do it yourself. Yeah. Which sometimes upsells itself again, because they see the SOPs and they go, damn, I don't want to do this myself. What? I'll just pay you to do it, But yeah, so there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways we can go. Here's another straightforward question. And it's also asking you're kind of asking for what to think. Is there anything that I could do that would get you started today? Once again, this isn't passive. Get you started today, right? These are key words that people are leaving out. This is what you're leaving out. These are the words you're not using. You need to use active language.
Right. And you have to lead them yourself too.
Correct.
Because if you wait too long, or you pause, or you like drag out the conversation too much with irrelevant things towards the end. I used to have the habit of just rambling, right? I would just keep going and going and going and going. Even after they're like screaming, like, sign me up today. And Matt's been on some of those calls, and they're like giving away all these indicators that they're ready to buy. But I'm just like, oh, but we also do this and this and this and this and this, right? Ask for the sale.
Yeah. While I pull up the invoice, go ahead and get your credit card for me. Like, what? Is that a scary sentence to say for some people?
Used to be until it worked.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, right? It's scary until it works, right? And then, okay, so we need to clarify something for anybody that doesn't know. So for Drew and our business, we have three things, 3 ways of income in the main stream. One is we have our sales that are an exact price. What you see is what you get. You can't change that price. Okay. Our second one is websites, is the only one that we use budget pricing because of the way we do it. We've managed it so we can have our system down to a certain amount of time, and it costs me a certain amount of money, right? And because of that, I can do budget-based pricing. And so that is what we use budget-based pricing for, okay? And then the third kind is retainers, right? A retainer is, which you can also use budget-based pricing if you're smart. A lot of people goes, retainer is $5,000. No, how much money do you have? $2,000? Okay, well, for $2,000, I can give you this much. But for 5,000, I can give you this much, right? And so you get them to commit for a long period of time. So a way you can do that, if you're going to do a budget form of pricing, a question you can ask is there a number that you would be comfortable closing at today, right? Because some of you, maybe you can minimize your work, you can minimize the amount, and so you can do less money, right? Some of you can't do that. So you need to know whatever it is you're selling, how much it costs you, so you can ask direct questions, right? So what I'm hearing is that you know that this solution, that my website, my SEO, my whatever would benefit your team, but the annual contract that you have with someone else is standing in your way. If I offered you some kind of discount, if I offered you a deal, would you be willing to work with me? How is your standing with that other company? Do you trust them?
If you didn't have a contract?
If you didn't have a contract, would it be worth moving with me over the exit fee of the contract if we gave you less headaches, worked easier, gave you better results? Would that help you not worry about that contract, right? Because these are the concerns that they're actually worried about. Time, money, effort. Time, money, effort. That's the only things we invest, right? Time, money, effort. So that's what they're thinking about in the back of their minds, whether they realize it. So these are the concerns we're talking about. Who cares if they're working with someone else? So, and if you know they're working with someone else, I already talked about this, but I'll say it again. You now have an opportunity to find out their budget. Find out how much they can spend. Oh, you're spending $2,000. Okay, well, if you were to replace them with me, that would qualify you for this plan, whatever it is.
Yep. It could also be past company too.
A past company as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, or other companies they're talking to. Oh, how much do they offer you? Oh, they offered you 1,200. Well, 1,200 will give you this, and this from us, plus phenomenal customer support. And we do phenomenal results. Don't badmouth the other people. Don't badmouth them.
Don't be afraid to stand your ground too.
Mhm.
I've had several calls where I just walked away myself because it just, like, for example, I said, like you said, Matt, they brought up, I am working with another company where I got other quotes, things like that. Oh, how much did they quote you? He was like, oh, I don't want to disclose that. I don't want to talk about that. I'm like, okay, well, great. Have a wonderful day. I don't want to do this with you. If you don't want to be transparent with me,
Mhm.
But I mean, obviously at your own discretion, but don't be afraid to value yourself and your time. Have control of the call.
Exactly. Another great question to ask, very direct. If you don't have any money, why did you get on the phone with me today? Do you mind if I ask? I'm curious. So what is this phone call about? Drew's heard me ask this. I'm like, what is the point of this call? I don't understand what we're talking about. Can you please tell me what we're talking about? If you don't have a budget, I'm confused. That is a great way to get them to open up about really what's going on. Be direct. No more passive language. Passive language, escapism. Another thing is, this is a grammar thing, but it's still really important. Learn it in your copy, learn it in the way we speak, learn it in the way we do anything. Things that weaken structure and weaken language and weaken commands and weaken all this stuff are, one, superlatives. Okay, so superlative is when you add extra on top. So very beautiful. Very is superlative because either you're beautiful or you're just pretty, right? Or you're just ugly. You're not very beautiful. Otherwise, you're gorgeous. So that's what a superlative is. So remove superlatives. Superlatives weaken your language, especially when we're on a sales call, especially if you're trying to get the sale through a message. Okay. The other one too is prepositions at the end of the sentence. And it's weird to say, and to understand verbally, but you kind of get used to it when you see it all the time. But when you say like, or well, that's why I say, is there a number that you would be comfortable at closing at today? Or would you like, no, get rid of it. That's the preposition. Or maybe, nope, you're already about to add a preposition. You're about to weaken your language. Anything extra, you're about to weaken it. Keep it short, keep it concise, be direct. And don't, that's why you're on the phone in the first place. Just be direct now, we're here. And then another thing also is don't tiptoe around your price. They won't trust you. And that's a mistake. People are like, how much is it? Well, it costs, and well, the moment you say, well, you're not going to give me a price. You're not doing what I asked you. And I'm not
the cheapest, but I'm not the most expensive either.
Yeah. And then, or even you start, a lot of people too, they'll start describing their product. When they say, how much does it cost? You'll start describing your product. Well, you'll get this and you'll get this and you'll get, stop. How much is it? $750. How much is it? $4,500. For $4,500, you will get the best customer service. The most phenomenal, that's a superlative. You will get phenomenal customer service, right? Just pick one damn word, So we will work really well. We will make sure things are done with quality. We will give you checklists and we will give you reports.
I think
Is
really
there
well
anything else you need from us in order for you to close today? What else would you need? Great. So if I was able to give you that, if I was able to give you that price, if I was able to do it in that timeline, if I was able to do it that quick, would you be willing to get started now?
Well, Matt, I want to see your previous work.
Fantastic. I'd love for you to see my previous work. Do me a favor and share your screen for me so I can guide you to it right now and show you where you can find it anytime. Go ahead and go to my website, type it in, ludmarketingllc.com. You're going to click right here and it's going to say case studies. Go ahead and download those case studies and I'll go ahead and read those out to you and explain to you how they work. Guide them to the answer. Give them the value. Show them the knowledge. Where can I show it? Actually, well, if you look right here on our website, there's a video right here that kind of explains it. You don't need to watch the whole thing, but go ahead and press play real quick. Get them to engage. That's another thing people don't understand, that by getting them to engage, you get them to trust you more. And here's another thing, okay? In order for you to get someone to trust you, do not do favors for them. Get them to do a favor for you. Because then they've invested in you. Okay, so you get them to invest in you. Can you do me a favor real quick? Can you blah, blah, blah? Can you turn down your volume real quick? Can you put up your volume? Can you turn up your brightness on your thing? Can you turn down the volume? Can you type in this on the website? Any of those things. You just got them engaged. You ask them to do a favor. Can you pass me this napkin if they're in person? Can you do, you know what I mean? So that right there gets them to trust you. And that breaks the ice a little bit. These are psychological tricks I learned in the military. What else? What else? What are some other rebuttals we have? Or some other objections we got? Go ahead, Drew.
Well, I was going to say, I wanted to chat about what I call as one-leggers a little bit too. So I think, George, you mentioned this on last week's call, making sure all of the decision makers are on the call very early in the call. Like, don't waste your time, right? So if you already know that not all the decision makers are on the call, you already know it's not going to close right then and there. Most of the time.
Exactly.
So, and you deal a lot with this. Like, I learned this in the service industry. Like, I used to work for a waterproofing company in a call center, and we would call it a one-legger if only the husband's going to be home, not the wife too, because every single time they're going to say, oh, I need to talk to my wife first.
And right? You know what the response for that one is for me? It's, what would your wife say if she was here listening to what I had to say right now? What do you think her response would be? Yeah. And then you can hear his actual concerns through his wife's eyes, because he's going to feel a little less concerned saying it because he gets to blame it on someone else.
So you could do that. That's a great one, Matt. my favorite one is usually at the end of the call. It's my transition into booking another appointment.
Mhm.
And I usually say, okay, great. So let's just assume that your wife or the other decision maker is 1000% on board. They're ready to buy right now. Let's just assume that's the case. What would hold you up from starting today?
Great question. What would hold you up from starting today? Now that we've moved this out the way, now that we've resolved this, what else is stopping you?
Right.
What else?
You
And
might
guess
not.
what? The answer is always going to be trust for you or trust for your product, value for you or value of your product.
It's
Let me
how
show
you find out what
one
the
here.
real objection is. You know,
Exactly.
that's how you dig deeper. When you get to the end of the call, even if you don't know, like even if they don't disclose that there's other decision makers, one of their escapes might be, and you get this all the time. Oh, I got to talk to my partner just to make sure. You know, he has the money. I just need to make sure it's okay. Something like that. Something involving another partner or team members, especially if it's a bigger company. There's nothing wrong with that, but set another appointment and find out the real objection. Make sure it's the actual truth and not just an exit.
Exactly. And another thing you can do is say, fantastic. If I were to schedule an appointment with you and your wife so that I can go over some of those points with her, when would be a good time to do that? And then you're going to hear some backing. So also, Jason got here. Does your wife know this is a pain point of yours? Then why would they be against it, right? Great questions, right? Does your wife know this is a pain point of yours? If money were not an issue, would anything hold you back from closing today? Right? If money's not an issue, exactly. Or whatever the issue is. And then say, also giving options for that, if that's within your capability. Don't just start offering financing, please. I'm the money guy. Please don't just start offering financing because you need the deal. Do not do that. Just say no. Okay? Don't take the deal. All right. But if you already offer financing and already makes sense and it's already part of your business plan, learn how to do that into your close. Okay. We were talking about also last week, moving them forward, being directing them forward through the sale, right? Avoiding yes or no, avoiding open-ended questions, except during objections. That's the only time. We were talking about, when do you use open-ended questions and when do you use directive questions that direct them somewhere. You use that questions that direct them somewhere the whole call until you get objections.
Yep. I just another point that I learned at a previous job too is how you control. Like, I always talk about controlling the call. That's my thing. I get so angry when they try to take control away, and I just reel it back in, immediately. And it's just a learning experience too. But one of the ways to keep going, to always move it forward, is just straight up tell them what's next, right? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do next.
Exactly.
So and stop in and check in too. So you can control the call, but you can also make them feel involved too. So say, instead of saying, like, does that make sense? Right? Does that make sense to you, Matt? Yes. It's a soft yes, right? The questions like that. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm okay. And then the other one is, instead of, does that make sense? Are you ready to get started with that? Right? So now you're getting them to answer, are you ready to get started? Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you a series of questions real quick to understand kind of where your mind is at. Are you ready to get started? Yes.
Yeah.
So then later on, you can ask again, okay, I'm gonna go over your intake form questions real quick. Are you ready to get started? Yes, awesome. Question 1, question 2. So that by the end, you say, fantastic. I'm glad you like this. Are you ready to get started? And you won't feel bad about asking that question the last time. Great, go ahead and grab me your Visa or MasterCard. Go ahead and read that for me. I'm gonna wait here. All right, next I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this invoice for me. Go ahead and go to your wallet and grab that for me. Do you have it on hand? Another thing is don't even do that. Another thing is just start asking the questions. This is the way Drew does it, actually. So we're already always filling out the information. Okay. And so now you're not just asking them yes or no questions. Now we're moving them forward. So we say, I'm just going to go over these few things to make sure I have all your information correct. Your name is Ralph Lorenzo, correct? Yes. And you live at this address, and this is your phone number, and this is your email. Awesome. And you're interested in this product? Great, for $750. And were you interested in the hosting plan for $300? Awesome, blah, blah, blah. All right, and your address is this, and this is going to be that. Your credit card number is? That's it.
Yep.
Your credit card number is? And then they're probably just going to grab it, or you're going to hear their objection. And then when you get their objection, you say, oh, okay, that's fine. Go ahead and tell me some of the things that you're concerned about, and I will, tell you what I can do to resolve those feelings for you, whatever it is.
Yep. I think one of my favorite objections is, oh, I have to think about it.
What do you
Can
have
you
to think about? I
can-
love when you
Can you
ask that.
can you send me a proposal? And then I'll just say, why?
And they're like, wait. And then they pause for a second. Or what do you have to think about? And they're like, wait.
Yeah.
And it kind of
Exactly.
gets them to pause
don't
for a
be-
second.
If someone says no, or if they say, I need to think about it. Okay, but why?
Why?
What's holding you up?
Yeah.
What is preventing you from moving forward today?
Mhm.
That gives you an opportunity to give that rebuttal right then, right? So
Yeah.
rebuttals are perfect for when they are trying to exit the call.
Mhm.
And they're exiting for one of those two reasons, because they can't afford it or because they don't trust you or the product. But if you ask them why, then you know which one it is. And when you know which one it is, you could follow that up with something else.
And come up with a solution for them. That's another thing, right? Not a solution for you. This isn't for you. This is for them. So you need to find a solution for them. Actually, when a long time ago, I used to work at Best Buy. Best Buy, you don't get commissions. And I was the #1 salesman. All right. Right away, when I first started going there, #1 salesman. Okay. And people would ask me, how do I make so many sales? And it was because of this. Every single time they'd come in and they go, I want this. And I go, awesome. So you want to spend about $1,300? Yes. What will you be using it for? Well, I'll be using it for this, this, and this. Oh, okay. Well, that computer is way too strong for that. You don't need all that. You can save yourself a little bit of money by grabbing yourself this, which is this is good. And you can, if you really want to spend that money because it's running a hole in your pocket, you can get yourself insurance and things like that. But you're solving a problem for them, right? Downselling them because it makes sense for them is
Right.
okay. And that's a big mistake that people forget about, right?
I do it all the time too. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sometimes people think they have $3,000 that they want to spend. Listen, just because they have $3,000 that they want to spend doesn't mean you should take $3,000 from them. Solve their problem and they will stay forever. Don't worry about how much you get today. That's the problem, everybody. Solve their problem. When you're listening to the close, you're solving their problems, right? You're listening to their emotions and you're trying to give them a feeling of resolve. You're trying to relieve them, the feeling of relief. That's the point. What would make them feel relief? It's either time, money, or effort. It's one of these things. And the only way you're going to do that is by giving them value and by asking them directly, what's wrong, bro? Why don't you want to spend money? Why did you get on this phone call with me? Why are we talking right now?
Well, my dog ate my wallet.
Yeah. So I reached out to you on LinkedIn and told you that I am selling websites. Would you like to get on a call? And then you said yes. And then you clicked my calendar link, filled out the form, answered all the questions, waited a few days, jumped on the call with me, but you don't have money. Go ahead and explain your train of thought to me, please.
Right.
And so I will make you cringe sometimes because I will ask these questions on a sales call, and you should too.
See you, Jason. Safe flight.
Yep. Safe flight, Jason. Lifetime value of the relationship. Exactly. Lifetime value of the relationship. You know, people ask what your cost of acquisition is, right? So people talk about your cost of acquisition.
Or
So
ROI.
your cost of acquisition, if you're doing it right, changes every day because you kept them. And if you keep them, they get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and make you more and more money. Okay.
Yep.
So
Same
that's
with the ROI question too. I hate it. I hate it so much.
I hate it. I hate the ROI question.
Oh, what's the ROI? Oh, well, how much you charge?
Yeah, if you want, you can tell me how much you charge, and then I can throw it into a random spreadsheet and we can try to calculate this. No, that's ridiculous, sir.
Right.
I don't know how much you charge. I'm not going to try to calculate. All I know is that it's positive. Oh yeah. Gabe's answer. What's your ROI? Positive. That's his, and it's such a great answer. What's your ROI? It's positive.
Oh man, that makes me laugh every time.
Every time he says it, it's so funny. Because what else, like, what do you want me to say? It's positive. It's good, but it's different for everyone. It's literally different for everyone.
Right. You know, that's also a thing that I love so much is case studies versus an audit, right? What is more powerful? Showing someone a graph with a bunch of numbers on it where you could have easily grabbed it from some Indian dude around the corner, you know, and just repurposed it like thousands of times. Like Matt, you have the same case studies as I do. We're not the same company, right?
Yeah.
That kind of how did that happen, right? So but what's more powerful? For example, let's say Google Ads, right? You're running a campaign already. I could perform an audit on your ad campaign and show you exactly what's wrong with it. I'll create a presentation and break down everything that you are doing wrong or that your current provider is doing wrong. That goes 1,000 times further than, hey, look what I did to this client and this client and this client. Oh, but that's not you.
Exactly.
That's not your service. So how can you compare ROI to me selling Pokemon cards to you selling an airplane engine?
Mm-hmm. And once again, this actually goes back to breaking objections before you come. That's why we have the audit and the case study in the first place. If you have these ready, if you show them, you can quickly glance at them and just build your trust along the way. And you're doing these, you're bound to get less and less and less objections because every objection you got to give a rebuttal for, right? And so every rebuttal is giving yourself more value and giving them more value, offering more value, offering more value, offering more value. And until you give them enough value where the amount of money they have to them is worth less than the amount of value you're going to give them. And so they want to trade. But for you, the amount of money they're going to give you is worth more than the amount of value you're going to give them.
So
that's
what
transactions are in the first place.
What are some other ways that we can get around objections early on? You know, obviously budget, right? Number one, you know, find out their budget very early in the call. Find out the one-legger, right? Another thing, I used to do this all the time. I used to work for a debt settlement company. And the biggest thing with the debt settlement program was it hurts your credit score, right? And that would be the biggest objection. Oh, you're going to hurt my credit score if we do this. I tell them straight up in the first 5 minutes of the call, this is going to hurt your credit score. Mm-hmm. But you're going to get out of debt. You're going to save a shit ton of money, you know, and attack first. Exactly. Because it doesn't give them an opportunity to have an excuse to leave the call or exactly. To say no.
Yeah. And there's this philosophical thing I teach, you know, you would never say, you know, I'm too dirty to take a shower. You shower because you're dirty. Okay. Well, it's the same. Some people say, I'm too broke to invest. Well, you invest because you're broke. Okay. And so this is also a great rebuttal in a call. When someone says to you, I can't because I don't have the money. I can't because I don't have the time. My response is, well, to me, that's exactly why you need to. You don't have the time. So why are you trying to do it yourself? You don't have the money. So then how do you expect to get more marketing, more customers, whatever, to bring you more money? If you're focused so hard this and you don't have a pipeline filling your pipeline, how are you going to get more money in the first place? We need to fix that issue. You don't have time. We need to fix that issue. That's why you need this. You don't have money. That's why you need this. You probably don't have money because you're not doing this.
Right.
Because that's what I'm offering you. I'm offering you money. I'm offering you money on a plate here. That's what I'm offering you. Whatever it is you offer through SEO, through building a website, through getting sales closers, whatever it is you do for them, you're offering them money on a plate, and you need to remind them of that. You're offering them time on a plate. You're offering them less effort on a plate.
Right. Yep. I built myself a Wix website because it was affordable. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. It looks like it's built in the 90s, but how if I would invest in doing it correctly from the jump, it would have saved me time. It would have saved me money. It would have made me more money. Those are things that people don't often understand. Is like, if you would have just spent more money from the jump, you wouldn't have to keep doing it over and over and over and over again.
Remember what I said on that sales call too. This guy loved me after this. I said to him, well, would you mind if I'd be honest with you for a second? He said, yeah, sure. Okay. In all honesty, it sounds like you've been being really cheap when you make your decisions. And in my experience, being cheap is very expensive, because now this is your third time trying it. And you think it's because this isn't good, but really you spent the least amount of possible money for that process, didn't you? Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. And so it didn't go well, right? Okay. Well, that's the same thing if you were to buy a toy guitar versus a real guitar. A toy guitar is going to last a week, and a real guitar is going to last years. And that's what you're doing here. You're investing here in a real product. And he said, yeah, man, you're right. I was like, okay, so then stop being cheap. I literally, stop being cheap. Stop being cheap. Just stop doing that, because that's obviously really hurting you. Stop hurting yourself. And so these are things you can say. Just be forward. Just be honest with people.
Yep.
So ruthless compassion, as I often say. Have ruthless compassion for people.
And going back to the other side too, when you said, kind of position yourself for value over like taking their money, right? So if they have $3,000 budget, but maybe they don't need to spend $3,000. For example, we had a client, and sorry, William, I turned him against SEO because it didn't make sense. He wanted leads now. He wanted leads today. Like, he was like, I need leads now. I need to justify, like he was saying, maybe SEO is the way to go. And I'm like,
and I need the results today. I need it this week. So I need SEO.
To be honest with you, even though SEO would technically make me more money, I said, SEO might not be the best fit right now because it's going to take 3 to 6 months to show some results. And we need leads today. And I want to keep you as a client. So let me give you a couple solutions. Why don't we do some Google ads? Why don't we do some Facebook ads to get you leads tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Why don't we get some direct form fills? Let's
put up some billboards.
Forget the landing page. Let's grab the leads right from Facebook, send them to Go High Level. Let's get some triggers going. Let's make it cheaper for you.
And now imagine if we would have said, you know what, and he was ready. I remember he was just ready to buy. It's like, I will buy SEO right now because I need leads today. Imagine if we would have sold it to him. We would have made a lot more money, and it would have been consistent, would have been every single month. But then a week from now, he would, where are my results? 2 weeks from now, where's my results? Hey, where's my thing? Hey, we're going to give you a report. You're going to get a report in a month. Oh, but I need this. And no one's coming to my thing. This sucks. Well, you guys ruined my thing. And then everything's going to be your fault. And it's just going to be this repetitive pattern. that you don't want to deal with. So stop being an ass and just give them what they need, not what they want.
And let them see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let them see the future, right? So like I said, okay, let's do Facebook ads. Let's do this to start. But let's, maybe like 2-3 months from now, let's go SEO, right? Let's get leads today and tomorrow, but that's going to make you money to be able to do SEO so you can support yourself. A lot of times I will say, okay, let's do SEO, but let's support it with some ads. Let's do both, because you want leads now, but we got to give SEO some time because it's going to serve you well in the long run, right? So
another thing you can do is you can allocate their extra funds. If they've got extra, they said 3,000 and your service is 2,000, you say, listen, you've got $3,000 burning a hole in your pocket. You really only need 2 for this, but you'd like to move to SEO in the future. So what would make the most sense is for you to spend the 2,000 here, the extra 1,000 you need, let's put that in a side account. And in 3 months, when you get these awesome results from here, you can take the money and get yourself a head start by adding this on top of. So it's always an addition to. And one thing that really helps our cause in general is always saying, listen, what we're doing is a step-by-step process. It'd be great for you to one day be able to have commercials and, and do celebrities and product placement and stuff like that. But we can't get there until we start small. And that's what we would love to do with you. We would love to be able to be the people that get you there. Step by step, that makes sense. You can afford $500 in 6 months, you can afford 1,000. And now we're already putting in their mind, give us more money in the future for more things. Give us more money and we'll do more advertising for you. And so it's already in there. It's already placed in there. We're planting the seed for forever. So do you guys have any questions? Drew, you're all over the place.
I know. I love it. That's how I do sales call. All over.
Yeah. What do you guys think? George, I know you got something to say.
Oh.
Unmute him.
You might have to allow to unmute.
I got it. Yeah. Let me do that for everyone, I guess. There we go.
Yeah. So, you're talking about, the people at, well, I've had off of my secret weapon, which is Ulink right now. I had 2 people that I reached out to and they said, oh, I just had my website redone 6 months ago. And the thing that we offered them was the free audit on their website. It's like, well, I just had it redone. And so what I do is, oh, okay, well, that sounds really great. And then I come back to them and say, oh, Steve, it looks like my assistant already forwarded you that audit report. So if you just had your website done, you really don't need to take a look at it. But, if you do, there's a couple of things that might be of interest to you in there, but, you're probably okay right now. Both of those guys within the hour were back at me. It's like, well, how come my website's so bad now? I said, well, I don't know what it was like before, but I'm just telling you, this is what it's like today. If you're not getting results with your website, here's why. And then, you just give them the real high level overview of, your web pages don't have any structure. Well, what do you mean by that? It says, well, your web page should tell a story. It should be like a table of contents. It says there's some fundamental things here that just, to me, look like they weren't done right initially that are really hurting you today. And that's why you're probably not getting the results that you expected from this company you got 6 months ago. So
yeah.
I got one
great approach, indirect approach. Let's call it an indirect approach.
Yes, that's the drop in the pie off at the back door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the side.
Yeah, being really soft about those. And then again, the thing about, budget, it's like, well, Brendan, what are you doing today to promote your business? Well, I'm doing this, this, and this. Okay, are you satisfied with the results? Well, no, because my phone's not ringing. Okay, how much are you spending on this?
Yes.
Well, I'm spending $500 a month on it. Well, how long have you been doing that? Well, almost a year. So you spend $6,000 on this, you don't have any results yet. Why are you still spending that money?
Exactly.
And he's like, I I don't know.
If you allocate those funds here for
Exactly.
$500 less, I will get you this, and this more result.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I even hit him. I said, well, I have this package for $450 a month that does the same thing. And I've got an ironclad guarantee that if you don't get results, I'm going to give you your money back.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoa. I'm like, how can you do that? I said, well, I have a track record. I have case studies. I have a string of successes with previous customers. That's how I can offer that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
His next question was, when can we get started?
Exactly.
Nice.
When can we get
So
started?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
how's
John.
how's the U-Link tweaks working out then?
They're working much better, right? As a matter of fact, I had to shut it off Wednesday because I'm
That's
like,
a good
coming
sign.
into a holiday weekend. It's like, I can't. Well, first of all, coming into a holiday weekend, I don't want these people, to get these invitations, have them sit there and, because people already checked out. If you're going to do anything over this long weekend, you're checked out already on Wednesday. And so, I'm not hitting these people, but I shut them off because I'm full. I mean, I'm working with 4 people off of U-Link right now, probably going to close 2 of them top of next week because I have
That's
commitments
cool.
from them to meet. They like what they saw. I'm getting ready to go out of town, but I want to, and they offered to set the meeting. They said, but I want to meet with you Monday morning,
Right.
or Tuesday morning.
So
It's like, great.
we've actually stopped sending the calendar link in the copy. We've actually stopped that.
Mhm.
We used to do it all the time. It works better when they commit to scheduling themselves, like you said, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. That was my campaign actually was the one that we tried that with, and it ended up being the best campaign, and we started A/B testing it. So at first, so just so everyone knows, we end our copy essentially with when would be a good day and time to hop on a quick call, right? And what we used to do is say something along the lines of, to make it easier, here's a thing for my calendar, here's my calendar link if to make it book, all those things. But then simultaneously, I just simultaneously did one without putting the link. When would be a good day and time to book a quick call? And then they would say, oh, I think this would be a good time. Or, oh yeah, you send me a link. And then they would ask me for the link. And so what we realize is that little thing makes it feel a little less like marketing, and it makes a huge difference. Okay, so the language we pick too, I noticed this, try not to sound like a commercial. All right. Even if what you're saying is a pitch, please don't come off like a commercial, right? And so when you're doing the copy and things like that, even when you're closing, I used to hate scripts because that's what I used to think. I used to feel like it just sounds this way. But then I learned that it's the philosophy behind the sentences, the statements, what they mean, and I can say them in any way. And so get comfortable saying them so that you can say them in any way, right? Is there anything I can do for you to get started today? Right? Awesome. If I were able to do A, B, and C for you today, would you be willing to get started? Great. If I were able to lower the price for you $200, you'd be willing to get started right now? Oh, fantastic. Great. I'll do that for you. So whatever it is, just be forward, be directive, direct them towards something. Only ask open-ended questions if you get an objection, and then actively listen for their pain points and use your solutions, offer them solutions.
Oh, and don't forget, rebuttals are good for appointment setting too, not just sales.
Yeah.
Someone says, "Oh, I'm not interested." Why?
Exactly. Why? And people don't realize that. Yeah. Why you can do rebuttals in these messages. Don't forget that.
Yep.
I message. So I think there's all 3 of us kind of do the U-Link thing, but I don't know how Drew does it. But my rule, I message everyone. Don't care what your response was. Don't care if it was nice. Don't care if it was mean. Don't care what it was. My response, I'm going to give a rebuttal. I'm going to say whatever. I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to whatever. I'm going to offer something. I'm going to give value. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I'm messaging you all. Okay. Fuck off. Sure. Where'd you like me to fuck off to? I don't know. I was just kidding there. But if someone does, I say, you know what? I appreciate it. If you ever need anything in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out. You have a great one. I'm still lovely to them regardless of what they say.
Well,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the ones that tell you to fuck off. I put them on my Christmas list and my Black Friday blast.
Just so you know, actually, just so you know, I forgot, man, I can't believe you just brought that up. Our naughty list, okay? If you say something mean, we put you on a naughty list, okay? And then we send you discounts. And we put,
Yeah.
and we say, hey, you made it on our naughty list because you cursed us out, whatever, and you told us this, copy their message, right? And it says, because of that, you get 30% off, blah, 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 and then spam them. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Drew,
So, that's our
Yeah.
naughty list.
looks like Craig's got a good question for you
Oh, go for it.
Can
ahead.
you
in the
share,
chat.
please? Ooh, can you share?
Let me see.
Craig, you're asking what Ulink is specifically? If so, I'll try to say it in one sentence.
Yep.
Yes, okay. Ulink is how me, Drew, George, possibly Alex, completely book our calendar by reaching out to thousands of people every single month on LinkedIn using great copy and messaging and reaching out directly to business owners, human resources, people that directly make the decisions and do some form of B2B pitch with them. And so it's a service that we offer. It's our most successful service. That's kind of what we've gotten famous for. We have a service called Dominate LinkedIn because we essentially help you completely book your calendar with calendars. Money, 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 right? It's money, money, money.
I dropped our Calendly link in there if you want to chat more about it. No pressure. We won't try to like hammer you with a sales pitch, but
yeah, but if you're interested,
yeah, be more like what George has the affiliate seat, which we offer to agencies. It's an invite only seat that we can get you approved for. The cost is only $75 a month, for the seat. And then
exactly.
The only other additional cost would be Sales Navigator. But most people should have Sales Navigator anyways if you're on LinkedIn.
If you're on LinkedIn on first,
But we can get you 2 months free. We also have some discount codes too, if you want to do longer.
Exactly.
But
so we offer this to people for like to our clients for $750. Right. And then can you send it to me on Facebook? Okay. And then, so we offer this to clients for $750 a month as a done for you service. And then to you guys, agency people, we offer affiliate seats if you want to do it yourself. Of course, we could still do it for you, but as an agency, it makes sense for you to get an affiliate seat, learn how to do this yourself, book your own calendar, and become really, really good at this. This is something that we all teach, and we're really, really good at teaching. So if you ever need us, we've got you.
I have a question, which is almost kind of a, speaking of Ulink, so one of the folks who got in touch with me is a company, is an architect in Colombia, and his niche is he's building homes out of shipping containers, and so he's repurposing and recycling those. But excuse the gringo here, but his website is in Espanol. And if he wants new copy for that, I don't actually have any copywriters I know who do Spanish.
Okay, so I mean, I could kind of help you, porque yo hablo español, pero I've never written copy in Spanish.
Well, see, that's just it, though. It's like I haven't been able to, in the amount of looking around I've done, I've asked people, says, hey, I need this this copy needs to be written in Spanish. Oh, well, we could do some translation service. I says, no, I need a native speaker to write this copy.
To write it in Spanish.
Yes.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, so that's just an example of some of the interesting problems you're going to run in with, because when you're reaching out through LinkedIn, it's they're all over, and
exactly.
and they see you're active in the groups, they're interested in what you do. And I actually get quite a bit of traction from, I'm kind of a security nerd, and so every time there's like a new WordPress vulnerability that comes out, I post something about it. I said, hey, are you running Magic Link 1.9.6? If you are, did you know there's a hole in it? Do you know your website could be at risk? Who's watching? Who makes sure that your plugins are updated on your WordPress website?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So, okay. Yeah. So, Craig, need you, please. And then Alex, I'd like to take a look as well. Okay. Yeah. We'll take care of it. You guys could either just book something on our calendar. I think you put it right there.
Yeah, just drop it in the chat right here. Craig, I think I just messaged you on Facebook.
Cool. And then, yeah, from there we can, we can tell you about it, and you can decide if you want to get an affiliate seat, if you want us to do it for you, if you want us to tell us no, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any other questions? It seems like it's been an hour.
It has, and it's been fun. Why, it's just like chatting with old friends.
Just like chatting with old friends. Good. I hope you
And,
guys took some good value out of it.
Oh, yeah.
What was
I was
that?
gonna say, if you say no on the call, we will rebuttal you.
We will rebuttal.
Yes.
So, unless we forget. No, we will rebuttal you.
Yeah.
So come with your A game if you're ready to object.
That's
Just
it.
kidding. Just kidding.
That's it.
You
Get
know,
ready to
one thing-
bump chest. Get ready to bump chest with Morales.
Exactly. You know what though? What is cool though is we are really, really chill. We don't give pressure. We don't pressure people at all, but we ask powerful questions, right? So I'm not going to push you, but I'm going to ask. This service isn't for you. Oh, that's great. Can you tell me why? It's not for me because of this, and this. All right, I'm going to give you those reasons. You say one more time. I'm like, all right, that's great. If you know anyone in the future that this service might be helpful for, go ahead and tell them. And if they tell us you referred us, I'll go ahead and give you a little discount code for that. Man, right? They don't need to be the sale. Why'd you get on this call? Exactly, Craig. Thank you, man. And isn't that such a great question? Why did you get on this call? That's also, I wanted to say, I start off with that question too, in a positive way. I'll say something like, just out of curiosity, which one of my services got you willing to jump on a call with me?
Right.
And so that's a good question. If you obviously, if you offer multiple services, if you offer one service, don't ask that question. You're just going to look like a crazy person.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
for your time. As always, if you're not joining us, thanks for tuning in the recording. Appreciate it.
Check us out. Have a great one, and study our work.
All right.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
All right.